Arash always believed he'd get caught because of something big. A lipstick mark, a hotel receipt, a late-night call that rang too loud. But the moment his marriage started dying, it happened in complete silence. It was raining that night, the kind of rain that turns a city into a mirror. Arash stood in the hallway of his apartment, coat still on, shoes still wet, breathing like he'd been running. Masa was in the bedroom, half asleep, the soft glow of her bedside lamp spilling into the corridor. The house smelled like warm tea and safety, and Arash felt like a stranger walking through it. His phone buzzed. One vibration, sharp, private, deadly. He glanced down and felt his stomach drop. Nazanin. I miss your hands, tonight. His thumb hovered over the screen. He told himself he wouldn't answer. He told himself he'd put the phone away, climb into bed, kiss Masa's forehead, and become the man she still believed in. But desire doesn't ask permission. His fingers moved anyway. Where? The reply came instantly, like she'd been waiting with her phone in her palm. Same place, don't be late. Arash exhaled, relief mixed with disgust, because the worst part wasn't the temptation. It was how normal it was becoming. He slid the phone into his pocket and stepped toward the bedroom, forcing his face into something gentle, something safe, something married. Masa shifted under the blanket. Her eyes opened just a little. Where were you? She asked, voice thick with sleep. Arash smiled. Work ran late. A lie, delivered so smoothly it almost sounded like truth. Masa nodded, but her gaze didn't soften the way it used to. It stayed on him, quiet, searching, like she was listening for something underneath his words. Arash's heart pounded, not because she accused him, because she didn't. She simply reached toward his jacket and brushed the sleeve, then paused. Her fingers tightened slightly, and in that half second, Arash realized she smelled it. Not his cologne. Not rain. Something sweet, foreign, dangerous. Masa looked up at him again, completely awake now. And her voice came out calm, too calm. Arash, she said softly, who is Nazanin?
Before we get to how it ended, you need to see how it started. Because the smallest choice is the one that destroys everything.
Arash had never been the type to fall easily or commit deeply. But when Nazanin entered his life, something awakened inside him that he couldn't control. Nazanin was not only beautiful, but her playful mind and sweet words drew Arash in every time they met. On the surface, Arash was married and lived a quiet life, yet he realized every glance from Nazanin carried an irresistible pull. In those first moments, a temptation sprouted in his heart, pushing him toward a dangerously destructive path. At home, with his wife Masa, Arash maintained a calm routine. But every night while Masa slept, his mind replayed images of Nazanin. He told himself it was just a mental fantasy, yet every brief contact, every exchanged message blurred the boundaries further. Arash knew that every moment he indulged this temptation increased the risk of destroying his family. But Nazanin's allure was like fire under ashes. It burned him repeatedly, and still he couldn't step away. The first time Arash and Nazanin met alone, the air between them crackled with unspoken tension. A coffee meeting that was meant to be casual stretched into hours of laughter, whispered stories, and stolen glances. Arash felt a rush of guilt and excitement at the same time. He knew he was crossing a line. He could almost feel the line of loyalty to Masa slipping through his fingers, but the thrill was intoxicating. Nazanin leaned in closer, her perfume overwhelming, her fingers brushing his unintentionally, or perhaps intentionally. Arash's heart raced as he realized how far he had already strayed, yet every fiber of his being urged him to linger. The ethical walls he had built for years were crumbling under the weight of desire, and a part of him feared the day this would all explode into reality. Still, he clung to the illusion that he could handle it, that he could navigate this treacherous path without losing everything he held dear. Arash became a master of compartmentalizing his life. By day, he was the attentive husband, the picture of calm. By night, his phone buzzed endlessly with messages from Nazanin, each one pulling him deeper into a clandestine world he had never imagined he would inhabit. Every secret meeting, every whispered conversation, added weight to the lie he carried in his chest. He found himself rehearsing excuses, mentally scripting stories in case Masa ever asked where he had been. The tension became a living presence in their home. Arash's smiles sometimes felt forced, his laughter hollow. Yet he couldn't resist the magnetic pull of Nazanin's world, the danger, the thrill, the forbidden connection. Every time he saw her, he told himself it would be the last time, yet every time he walked away, he counted the hours until the next meeting. The shadows of secrecy became his constant companions, whispering promises of pleasure and doom in equal measure. It wasn't long before words turned into touch, and touch became something far more intimate. The first kiss happened in a dimly lit parking lot, both trembling with the realization of what they were doing. Arash felt a mix of ecstasy and dread as he surrendered to the moment. Every rational thought screamed to stop, yet desire won. That night, when he returned home to Masa, he felt the bitter taste of guilt cling to him like a second skin. He lay beside her, feeling the warmth of her trust and love, while inside, he carried the fire of betrayal. The duality tore at him relentlessly, two worlds colliding inside his soul. And yet, instead of retreating, he found himself planning the next encounter, unable to resist the dangerous spiral he had entered. The first betrayal had been crossed, and the path forward seemed inevitable, each step heavier than the last. Arash's life became a delicate balancing act. Every day required careful calculations, every evening a tightrope walk between desire and duty. He would laugh with Masa, hold her hand, share intimate moments, all while the other half of his existence pulsed with secrets, passion, and impending doom. The thrill of the double life was addictive. Each lie told to Masa felt like a tiny victory, each secret meeting with Nazanin an escape from the mundane reality of his marriage. Yet with every thrill came a gnawing fear of discovery, of heartbreak, of the irreversible damage he was inflicting on those who trusted him most. The tension was a constant hum in his veins, a reminder that the life he had built could crumble at any moment. But Arash couldn't stop. The fire of temptation had taken hold too deeply, and the longer he resisted, the more unbearable the longing became. Arash became increasingly skilled at weaving lies so intricate that even he sometimes believed them. Every excuse, every fabricated story to Masa was like a thread in a web, holding him in a fragile balance. He convinced himself he was being careful, that no harm would come, but deep inside, he knew the truth. The longer this continued, the harder the fall would be. Nazanin's texts now carried not just flirtation but subtle demands for attention, and Arash found himself responding immediately, no matter the cost. The thrill of sneaking away, of hiding his phone, of avoiding suspicion, became an addiction. Each lie told was another drop of poison in his soul, and yet he drank it willingly, intoxicated by the thrill of the forbidden. He began noticing small changes in Masa, subtle looks of concern, fleeting doubts, and instead of stopping, he felt a surge of adrenaline. The tension between his guilt and desire became a constant, suffocating presence. One rainy evening, Arash and Nazanin met at a quiet, empty restaurant. The dim lights reflected the storm outside, mirroring the turmoil in his heart. Their conversation was casual on the surface, but every glance, every touch, carried an unspoken promise. Arash knew he was risking everything, yet the excitement of danger only heightened the attraction. Nazanin laughed softly, brushing her fingers across his hand, and Arash felt the familiar ache of longing. He realized then that he was no longer just attracted, he was ensnared. The moment was electric, a collision of passion and fear. Every instinct screamed to stop, yet every nerve in his body urged him forward. Outside, the rain poured relentlessly, but inside him, a storm raged far more violent, consuming rational thought with reckless desire. Back at home, Masa began to sense a change. Small things, Arash's sudden secretiveness, his distracted glances at his phone, subtle shifts in his demeanor, planted seeds of doubt. Masa's intuition was sharp, and while she tried to dismiss it, a gnawing suspicion began to take root. Arash, aware that he was being watched even when he wasn't, felt the walls closing in. He started lying more convincingly, fabricating late work nights, unexpected meetings, even inventing phone calls. But each deception left a residue of anxiety, a lingering fear that his carefully constructed double life might collapse at any moment. He realized the thrill came at a cost, a silent, growing dread that one misstep would expose the truth and destroy everything he cherished. Arash's heart became a battlefield of conflicting emotions. He loved the rush, the passion, the attention from Nazanin, yet he also felt an undeniable attachment to Masa, his wife, the woman who had stood by him through so much. Every secret text, every stolen kiss intensified his inner conflict. He began rationalizing his actions with twisted logic, that he deserved excitement, that this was just a temporary lapse, that he could stop anytime. But each encounter made stopping more impossible. He felt alive in ways he hadn't in years, yet the guilt gnawed at him relentlessly. The duality of love and lust, duty and desire, consumed him, making his nights restless and his days heavy. Every heartbeat was a reminder of what he risked and what he couldn't resist. By now, Arash was deeply entangled, unable to extricate himself without causing pain. The lies had grown so complex that even he feared being caught in his own web. His conversations with Nazanin shifted from casual flirtation to intense emotional dependency. She began sharing her personal struggles, and Arash felt a dangerous sense of intimacy, an emotional connection that went far beyond desire. He found himself prioritizing her feelings over Masa's, thinking about Nazanin during moments that should have been reserved for his wife. The line between right and wrong blurred completely, leaving Arash in a liminal space where passion ruled and morality faltered. Each choice pulled him deeper, a slippery slope with no end in sight. The excitement of infidelity was intoxicating, but the shadow of potential ruin loomed larger with every heartbeat, every lie, every stolen moment. Arash began noticing how desire had become an invisible thread that tugged at every decision he made. He couldn't simply exist without thinking of Nazanin, imagining moments that were impossibly intimate and dangerously real. The tension between his outwardly perfect life with Masa and the secret, passionate world he had with Nazanin began to suffocate him. He found himself lingering in memories of her touch, her laughter, her whispered promises, even when Masa was beside him. The duality was no longer manageable. It had become an addiction he could neither escape nor confess. Every glance at Nazanin's messages made his heart race. Every lie he crafted felt like a blade twisting inside his chest. He tried to convince himself it was harmless, that he could control it.
If this story hits you, you can support the channel with a quick hype.
But the intensity of his hidden desire made him feel like he was standing on the edge of a cliff, teetering between ecstasy and catastrophe. One evening, Masa accidentally glimpsed a fragment of a text from Nazanin on Arash's phone. It was brief, almost meaningless, but enough to ignite a spark of suspicion. Her gaze lingered on him that night, sharp, searching. Arash felt the familiar surge of panic, the fear of being caught, of losing everything he valued, of watching his carefully balanced world crumble. He tried to mask his fear with feigned calmness, smiling and chatting as if nothing had happened, but the tension was palpable. Masa's intuition had always been sharp, and Arash realized the danger was real. One mistake could unravel his double life in an instant. Yet despite this, he was powerless to stop. Desire had taken command, and every calculated lie only deepened the peril. The emotional strain began to wear Arash down. Days felt longer, nights were restless, and his thoughts were consumed by the collision of love, guilt, and lust. He loved Masa, he knew that, but he also craved the intensity he shared with Nazanin. The dichotomy tore at his soul relentlessly. Arash started having dreams that mixed both women, nightmares of betrayal and loss. While awake, he felt trapped in an impossible maze of his own making. The mental anguish was almost unbearable, yet the thrill of infidelity kept him ensnared. He realized that he was no longer just cheating physically. He was betraying emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Every choice, every secret, every stolen moment chipped away at his integrity, leaving only a hollow, addicted man struggling to survive in the shadows of his own deceit. One rainy night, Arash and Nazanin met at a secluded hotel. The storm outside mirrored the turbulence inside him. The room was dimly lit, the air thick with tension and anticipation. Every touch, every whisper, carried a dangerous weight. Arash felt consumed by desire, and at the same time he was drowning in guilt. The night was intoxicating, a blend of passion and ruin. He knew this was a turning point. The boundaries of fidelity had been shattered completely. Masa, waiting innocently at home, represented a life he was betraying in the most profound way. And yet, in the heat of the moment, logic was useless. Desire ruled, consequences faded, and Arash surrendered to the storm that he had allowed to grow unchecked. Returning home after that night, Arash felt the weight of inevitability pressing down on him. He looked at Masa sleeping peacefully, unaware, and a pang of guilt struck him like a dagger. He knew the shadow of his actions was growing larger with every secret, every stolen moment, every lie. The dual life he led was no longer just a thrill. It was a dangerous spiral, pulling him deeper into darkness. Arash realized that his choices were no longer reversible. The emotional entanglement was too strong, the lies too layered, and the risk of exposure too imminent. Every heartbeat reminded him of the fragile thread on which his life now hung. One wrong move, one slip, one accidental glance from Masa, and the entire world he knew could collapse. Arash's life was now a web of deceit so intricate that every step he took felt like walking on thin ice. The more he tried to maintain normalcy with Masa, the heavier the shadow of Nazanin loomed over him. Each meeting with her carried a dangerous thrill, a secret power, yet also a terrifying vulnerability. He began feeling trapped, his desire unstoppable, his morality fraying. The grip of guilt and longing coiled tighter around his heart. He could barely speak to Masa without thinking about the forbidden messages that awaited him on his phone, the stolen moments that had become the lifeblood of his days. His double life had become a living entity, one that demanded attention and devotion, threatening to consume everything he had once held sacred. One afternoon, Arash noticed Masa examining his phone with suspicion. A text notification from Nazanin had flashed briefly on the screen. The moment was fleeting, but the implications hit him like a thunderbolt. Panic surged through him, but his calm exterior never wavered. He managed a casual smile, while inside, his mind raced to cover every trail, every clue that could expose his betrayal. The danger had become tangible. Every lie now carried a sharper edge, every deception a possible ruin. Yet paradoxically, the risk only intensified his addictive thrill. He was fully aware that one misstep could shatter his world, but the pull of passion and desire was stronger than fear. The storm of temptation raged unchecked, and Arash was powerless to resist its destructive force. Arash's soul began to fracture under the weight of his duplicity. Sleep was elusive, peace impossible. Every glance at Masa, every loving touch, was tainted by the knowledge of his betrayal. His nights were restless with dreams of Nazanin, his days haunted by the fear of discovery. He tried to convince himself he could stop, that he could reclaim the life he once had, but the emotional entanglement was too deep. Every meeting, every whispered promise had embedded her in his heart. He felt like a man divided, living in two realities, both of which were incompatible yet indispensable. The fracture in his spirit widened daily, leaving him hollowed, addicted, and desperate. The moment of truth arrived unexpectedly. Masa had noticed too many small anomalies, too many inconsistencies. Her quiet observations and intuitive suspicions built into a crescendo of confrontation. She didn't need to see a single message. She could feel the truth. Arash faced her one evening, heart pounding, palms sweating, unable to fabricate another lie. Masa's eyes searched his, demanding honesty. The weight of every betrayal pressed upon him like a leaden blanket. The tension was unbearable, and for the first time, Arash felt the full scope of the consequences he had been evading. The confrontation was inevitable, and nothing he had done in secrecy could prevent it. In the end, the double life collapsed in a moment of stark clarity. Arash confessed, or perhaps Masa's piercing intuition revealed it all without words. The truth, long hidden, struck like lightning, leaving devastation in its wake. Masa's world shattered, her trust obliterated. Arash felt the full weight of his choices, the stolen moments, the lies, the emotional betrayals, all culminating in a profound loss. The thrill of infidelity, the intoxicating passion that had once consumed him, was replaced by the unbearable ache of regret. The man who once walked on temptation's edge now lay broken under the ruin of his own making. The story ended not with reconciliation or redemption, but with the stark, unflinching reality of a life irreversibly altered by desire and betrayal.
If you've ever felt this kind of pain, don't walk through it alone. Hit subscribe and stay with us. More real stories are coming.